The experience of parents living in the UK with children is definitely different from those without children. Why? Because childcare is something that gets many parents worried. They're worried about where to keep their child. They're worried about the cost of keeping their child because it is it is that expensive compared to where we are coming from in Nigeria. I remember when I was in Kebbi, to keep my daughter in a crèche, I paid 7,000 naira per month. Imagine how cheap that is. But here, to keep my second daughter when I had her here in the UK, monthly I was paying £800, and that was in 2020, when things have not become this bad, when inflation has not really affected us this much. I was paying £800 per month. And now with the way things are going up every day, the nursery too, the crèche, they keep increasing their fee, and now I can't get a nursery that will take less than £1,200 in a month. Parents are now left with an option of either pursuing their career or doing or getting a work from home. Even if you get a work from home, there are some organizations that will not allow you to keep your child at home with you, especially if they are very little. So parents are left with option of either pursuing their career or alternating works between them and their spouse, depending on the nature of the work they are doing. And this is why it is important we talk about this, especially for parents that are coming from other countries to the UK. Hello, welcome to Naija Mom in the UK. My name is Samina Tayodele. I'm a Naija mom living in Wales in the UK. I'm a mom of 3 kids, and on my channel I share my experience of living in the UK as a mom and how other moms like me can navigate life in the UK successfully. Because we are in a new environment, the culture is different, the environment is different, the weather is different, how we take care of our children is different, how we relate with them is different compared to where we do it back home. And that is why in today's video, I'll be sharing with us few things that we need to know about childcare if we are just planning to come to the UK, or if we have newly entered the UK as a mom. If you are a new mom planning to come to the UK or already in the UK, or if you are pregnant and you are going to be delivering your baby in the UK, or if you are single and by God's grace you are getting married and hoping to have your own children in the future, this channel is for you. This particular video is for you, and you should please watch to the end. Subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so that you'll be the first to get notified when I release a new video. It was said that an average cost of childcare in the UK is £263 per week. Woo! Yes, that is not exaggerated. A lot of people tell themselves that, hey, when you are coming to the UK, it is advisable to keep your child back home, maybe for some time, if you have a mom, or if you have a father, or if you have someone that can be trusted, that you can leave your child with, and that you should come alone so that you can be able to hustle. You'll be wondering why they are saying that. It is really difficult to make that decision. I, for one, don't want to find myself in such a situation whereby I have to leave my kids behind because I needed to go and work, and because they will be like a factor to determine the type of work I can get. A lot of people ask the questions, what do you mean? I'll tell you the difference. If you are coming with a 2-year-old, for example, to the UK, when you get to the UK, it might be difficult for you as a mom, especially if the husband is there for to continue working. It might be difficult for you to say, I want to work too, unless if the type of job you want to do, the salary can cater very well. What I mean by very well, it means when you pay for the childcare, you still have so much left on ground to spend. Not that you'll be adding more to your salary because you needed to work. So you find so many parents caught up between pursuing their career, staying at home with their kids. A lot of people have become content creators on YouTube, on Instagram, because they can't afford to keep their child in the nursery. The cost is just too extravagant. It is just too expensive, and it is not a wise decision to say, because I want to further my career, because I don't want to pursue my career, I have to be working. And at the end of the month, if I'm paying a nanny 1,200, for example, and my salary is £1,300. So which means I will have £100 at the end of the month. You won't even have that £100 at the end of the month, because you'll be going to work using one transportation model, or using your vehicle, buying fuel, or going to public transport, buying clothes that you wear to work, and buying other things. And at the end of the day, you realize that you are just working. Fine. A lot of people go through that option because they are like, it will count as part of my experience of working in the UK. But for some, it is not just wise for them to say, I have worked my whole month, and at the end of the month, I am giving all my salary to a nanny or to a nursery. So this is why it is important to get this first-hand information, so that you know what to prepare before coming. You prepare your mind before coming. You know what you are getting into. If you are coming with children that are less than 12 years old, you will know this is what you are getting into. And it will be a joint decision between you and your husband to say, hey, with the reality on ground now, one person is going to continue doing the work before these children reach school age, or both of us are going to work, but it means we are going to be alternating the work. Probably you as a man, you stay with the kids at night while I go to work to do night shifts, and during the day I take over, and that is how we are going to be juggling it until these children reach school age, whereby we can afford to keep them in a nursery for after school. It was said that even if you don't have babies, except your children are in secondary school, they are at least 16 years of age, in one way or the other, you are still going to pay for childcare. Because here in the UK, school closes at 3 o'clock, 3:30, and there's nothing like extra lesson or afternoon lesson that we do back in Nigeria, whereby the children might not even come home until around 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock. Here in the UK, all children are dispersed between 3 o'clock or 3:30, at most 4 o'clock for those that are having after school club. So which means if you are working and you are closing between 5 and 6 o'clock, you are either getting someone that will collect your child for you from the school, or you are closing at that time to come and collect your child, or you arrange with a nursery at a cost to pick up your child. For example, I've got a child that closes at 3:15 in school. For days that I don't work from home, I do arrange with a nursery to collect her from the school, and I pay £15 per day. That £15 per day is between the hours of 3:15 when they collect her from school up to 6 o'clock when I go collect her. For my baby, I had, when my daughter was a baby, she has started school now, and I was keeping her in a nursery from 8 o'clock to 6 o'clock in the evening. I was paying £45 per day or so. So I was paying around £800 per month. So imagine if my salary was £1,300. Of course, I still have something left. So it's still reasonable to say, yes, I'll continue working. I'll continue building on my experience until I manage to get a good job that will fetch me good salary. But in a situation whereby I have to pay for after school pick up, for example, and I still have to pay that £800, at the end of the day, the childcare cost of picking my older daughter from school in the afternoon and also keeping my little one at the nursery will eventually eat up all my salary. So it is important to get this information, so that when you get to the UK, you don't feel like, what have I gotten myself into? This is not the kind of life I designed for myself. Everyone, every parent, every mom especially, will go through this phase, and it is just part of the things. It is just part of life experience that one would experience. You can't eat your cake and have it in the UK, except when you have other kids. Because even if you are working from home, it is only when you have other kids that you can say, I can work from home, I don't have to pay for any childcare. But as long as your children are little, you have them like toddlers, you have them like, let's say between 4 years and below, it can be difficult to say you want to work from home with them because of the distraction. And some organizations will still expect to keep your child at the nursery even if you are working from home, because they want you to concentrate on the job you have been assigned to do. So what are the types of childcare available in the UK? One of it is the nursery, which I have mentioned earlier. There are available nurseries. They are called day nursery because they only operate during the day from 8 o'clock to, some of them from 7 o'clock to 6 p.m., some from 8 o'clock to 6 p.m. So which means if you are going to work by 8 o'clock, you just need to look around for nurseries around your area where you can drop your children. in the morning, and when you are coming back in the evening, you collect them from the nursery. You don't have to go with food. They normally provide food for them at the nursery, so they are well taken care of. If you are dropping them before school time, the nurseries normally have vehicles that will take them to school, and they will collect them in the afternoon back to the nursery, and then you collect them in the evening when you are coming back from work. You can do this if you think that is the only available option you get. Other parents, what they do is they alternate between themselves. For example, the father can work during the day while the mother stays home with the child, depending on the nature of their job. Or when the father comes in the evening, the mother goes for night shift, and then the father stays with the children. And when she comes in the morning, the father goes again. So this is like the typical life of some people in the UK. So that is one type of childcare available in the UK. The other one is what is called registered minders. These are people that are recognized. They've gone through trainings on childcare. They've done their background check. They've been licensed to practice as a nanny, cater for children. So these are people that people can just drop their children with. It's not like the normal day nursery. So this type of people, you can drop your child with them if you are going for night shifts and there's no one to cater for them. They are still very much expensive too, because it's like the other ones are, even though they are private, but it's like having a public one and having a private one. You want someone that will give enough care for your child, you know, compared to the other ones where there are more children. Yeah. So the other one is live-in nanny. Some people get live-in nanny, especially for people that goes for night shifts and they have more than one child, so they will prefer to have a live-in nanny. But the other side of having a live-in nanny is because you have to pay for their national insurance, you have to pay tax on their salaries. It's like you being an employer. You have to employ them. You are the boss employing people, and you have to pay all those statutory payments on the service they are providing to you. So, and as a live-in nanny, they have access to almost everything you to have access in your house. If you are going for shopping or something, you have to consider them. Sometimes you provide vehicles to them that they can use to collect your children from school. So, you know, you kind of make life easier for them, because you are assuming you want them to take care of your children too as well. And there's another one that is day nanny. Day nanny is the one that come maybe just in the morning and then goes back in the evening when you come back from work. These are expensive, more expensive than the normal nursery. Some of them takes between £400 to £800 per week to take care of the children, within a family. And that's because it's like a private service, a special service. So people employ them because they want their child to feel safe. They want to be at work and their minds at rest that, yeah, my children are in safe hand, they are at home, they are good. I don't have to be rushing to get them from the nursery, especially if I can't meet up with the 6 o'clock closing time at the nursery. The other one is the family arrangement. People make use of their families and friends around. They drop their children with them, or they tell them, hey, can you please send me collect my children from the school, and when I come back from work, I'll pick them up. So that's another way you can manage that, but that is not like the surest way, because almost everybody have their own hustle. So you don't want to drop your 2 or 3 children with another person and say you are working. Even if you do it like once in a while, you don't want to be doing that every day. So that is not like a good option to consider, unless it is really, really, really like your family members and they don't mind keeping your children with them. The other one is childcare, whereby you arrange with someone that has kids as well. On days that the person is not working, you can keep your child with them, and on days that you are not working, you can accept their own children. And so that kind of, you know, people make that kind of arrangement, especially people that work in the same place but with different schedules, with different shifts. They can make that kind of arrangements. That way, you're not paying anybody, you're just giving back in kind and also accepting from others too in kind. So in terms of support that is available for childcare, fine, they call it support, but despite the support, is still on the high side. One of them is the early years funding that is available to children between 3 and 4 years old. In Wales, for example, once your child is 3 years and you are working at least 16 hours in a week, you and your partner are working at least 16 hours in a week, your child or your children, if they are more than one and they are within that age range, they are entitled to 30 hours in school. So which means they can go from morning till 3 o'clock or 3:15 normal school closing time, and then you arrange how to get them back home, either through the nursery or the other method that I've explained before in the first part of this video. And so, but if you are not working up to 16 hours, or if it is just one of you that is working, maybe your partner is the only one working, you are not working, they are only entitled to 15 hours. So which means they can only go to school for 2 hours in a day until they are 5 years old. Until they start reception and they are 5 years old. That is when they can be able to go to full-time school from 8 o'clock to 3 o'clock without any additional cost. But if both of you are working, you have access to that 30 hours funding. So that is the kind of support available. The other support is what they call the tax-free childcare, which is whereby if you pay a certain amount on childcare, 800 for example, the government pay back some amounts, the percentage of that amount that you pay. So for example, if you pay, let's say 10,000 naira in a year, you can't pay 10,000 naira in a year, you pay more than that. But if you are paying, let's say 10,000 naira in a year, there's a way the government pay back such that at the end of the year, your payments eventually equal to 8,000 pounds. So which means the 2,000 pounds is the savings that you have made on childcare. So they call it tax-free childcare. So these are the kind of supports available from the government to parents working. But to be honest with you, before you say you start enjoying your life with kids in the UK and you don't have to pay for any childcare, that is until your child starts secondary school and they can come back from school back home themselves. But that does not still mean that you can leave them and go for any night job until they are above 16 years of age. So these are just preliminaries around childcare in the UK. I'll be coming up more on how you can go about enrolling your children in school if you are moving for the first time, or even if you are in Nigeria, you can enroll them because most of the things are just done online. You just have to apply online. So I'll be sharing details of this. Stay tuned. But please, before you go, drop your comments. Any area that you think you are confused, I'm happy to share with you, and I'm also happy to learn from you if I've made any mistake in this video. Thank you. Bye.